Hiya, Three is going to take a bit of time now to do some story time. I'm going to start this new book called Oliver Moon and the Spider Spell. Okay, I'll read the blurb to you. It said, Oliver's mum has caught green flu, so Oliver is in charge of the housework. There's a lot to do. Recharging the wands, washing the cloaks, not to mention looking after the witch baby and her pet spider. Everything is okay until Oliver tries a grow bigger spell on the cauldron. Then he finds himself in very big trouble indeed. Chapter 1. Oliver Moon opened his eyes and sat up in his spiderweb hammock, yawning and stretching. Then he smiled. It was Saturday today, the best day of the week. No magic school, no lessons, and no bossy teachers. Just lots of fun doing whatever he felt like. Maybe he'd phone his best friend, Jake Frogfreckle, and they'd play school football together in the park. Maybe they'd go pond dipping with their fishing nets. The last time they'd done that, Oliver had caught a real nettle newt and 17 sludge snails. Or maybe, if it was raining, Oliver could make cockroach cookies with his parents. Oliver got out of bed, his mind spinning with ideas. Oh, how he loved Saturdays. He pulled on his dressing gown and ran downstairs for breakfast. In the kitchen, he stopped and stared at the scene of chaos that greeted him. The witch baby, Oliver's little sister, had just put a bowl of Beetle Crunch cereal on her head, and streams of bat milk were running down her face and hair. Hee, look at me, she chirped cheerfully. Meanwhile, Oliver's dad, Mr. Moon, was standing on a chair, wiping splattered baby food off the ceiling. Oh, Oliver, thank goodness you're awake, he cried. Madam here has been very messy this morning, and... He broke off as he turned and caught sight of his daughter with cereal and milk all over her head. What have you done now? He said with a sigh. Me? More messy? The witch baby replied with a big grin. Mr. Moon looked worn out. Honestly, I don't know how your mum manages it, he said to Oliver. Then he grabbed a cloth and went over to the witch baby. Let's clean up, he said wearily. Then it's time for your vitamins. Yuck, said the witch baby as he wiped a wet flannel over her face. Mr. Moon got a bottle of treacly-looking black liquid from the cupboard and poured some onto a spoon. Open wide, he told her. The witch baby shook her head, her lips clamped together. I said, Mr. Moon began, but Oliver interrupted. She won't have it like that, he whispered. Mum sneaks it into a biscuit so that she doesn't know she's swallowing it. He looked around. Where is Mum anyway, he said. She's not very well, Mr. Moon replied. Open the biscuit tin. She's got a nasty taste of green flu. So, green flu, echoed Oliver. Is that when you turn green? Mr. Moon nodded. Bright frog green, yes, he said, dribbling the vitamin liquid onto a beetle biscuit. Even her hair is green and her teeth. She feels awful. Poor thing, she'll have to stay in bed till she's better. Green flu takes a while to recover from, which means there are a few chores we'll have to share today. And of course your sister needs looking after. Oliver's heart sank. Chores? Looking after his sister? On a Saturday? But he began. Who wants a yummy scrummy Vicky then, Mr. Moon asked the witch baby, and she opened her mouth at once. Brilliant, he said, as he posted the beetle biscuit in. Now there's a list of chores here, he went on, passing a piece of paper over. As you'll see, I divide the work up between us. So Oliver scanned through the list, tuning out his dad's voice as he did so. Putting away breakfast things, Oliver. Washing the cloaks, Oliver. Recharging the wands, Oliver. Looking after the witch baby, Oliver. Taking the cauldron for a service, Dad. Oliver, as he read, chore after chore after chore, and nearly all with his name on. Suddenly, his plans for pond dipping and school football seemed a million miles away. That's not fair. I've got to do everything, he complained. Mr. Moon shrugged. But it'll take a while to get the cauldron service, he replied. You know what they're like at Quick Fix. I could be there hours. And it must be done today. It's been booked in for ages, and if I cancel, we'll have to wait months before we can get it seen again. Well, can't you take the witch baby with you, Oliver suggested. They both turned to look at the witch baby, who was now trying to wedge her cereal spoon up her nose. Mr. Moon yanked it out, causing her to break into a howl of dismay. No, sorry, Mr. Moon told Oliver. You know what she's like. She'll meddle with everything. It's just not possible. She'll be much better off here with you. Now I'd better get the cauldron out. I'd better get the cauldron and go on my way. I'll be as quick as I can. What's that? You're leaving me in charge just like that? Oliver asked. Just like that. Just like that, the witch baby chanted. She had the annoying habit of copying everything. Oliver and his parents said at the moment it was her new game. I'll be back as soon as I can, Mr. Moon said. Mum's upstairs if you really need her. Oh, and try to keep your sister quiet. You know we'll only have Mrs. B next door complaining if she makes a racket. The last thing we want is them complaining again. Oliver grinned. He knew his dad wasn't very keen on the next door neighbours. Mind you, neither was he. She was the most bad-tempered, mean old witch he'd ever met, the lady next door. See you later then, Dad, he said. He sighed as he went to the kitchen to make some toast. To think that just a few minutes ago he'd been looking forward to today. Now he was starting to wish he was at school. Anything would be more exciting than chores and babysitting. Right, I'll read some more tomorrow. Take care.